You are listening to episode number 1, Detoxing from Sugar, with Jamie Greenfield. Today, I am going to be interviewing Jamie Greenfield from Jamie G Energy. Jamie has been diagnosed with PCOS as a teenager. She has decided to cut sugar completely out of her life, but she did not stop there. She has decided to inspire many women to follow her path. She is now a life coach. She is an advocate of living your life on your own terms. She is empowering women all over the world to live life at their fullest, not letting anything stopping them. Jamie also has her own signature program that is very special to her heart. It is a full body, mind, and soul sugar detox program that is called Break Up with Sugar. By the way, I love that name. And so in this program, she guides women through each step of the process exactly like she has been doing during her own journey. Jamie, welcome. It's a pleasure to have you with me today.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Before we start, I want to ask you something. What is your favorite song of the moment?
My favorite song at the moment, I would have to say it's by Diplo and it's called Be Right There. I was actually working out this morning and it was my go-to, so definitely.
Okay, I'll make sure we put the link down to pump up people for today. Can you please take us back and share with us your journey? Can you tell us how you went from being a flight attendant to being a health coach specialized in sugar detox?
Absolutely. It's been quite a journey, I have to say, but I do believe everything happens for a reason. So, I'm glad that my path kind of led me here. I was diagnosed with polycystic ovarian syndrome as a teenager, and I had what's called lean polycystic ovarian syndrome, which is a hormonal imbalance found in women that are underweight instead of obese, because a lot of polycystic ovarian syndrome people they're obese. So my hormones were completely thrown off. They weren't sure what caused this, and I was prescribed birth control. I was prescribed metformin, several medications in attempts to A, menstruate, and B, to try to get those hormones regulated. And the problem with these pills, with birth control, with metformin, is they're treating the symptom, not the cause. So I'm a very intuitive person and I'm a truth seeker. And I just knew that something wasn't right and I didn't want to go on these medications. So after years of being told what to do in terms of medications, I kind of put it on the back burner, not making it a priority, because in my mind I said, oh, well, I'll deal with this when I'm older. I'm not going to die from it. It's nothing that's, imperative to fix right now. So fast forward a couple of years, I am working as a flight attendant. And although I love the job, I was on a very restrictive sleep schedule, and I was eating tons of processed food on the go. And I want to address that because I think a lot of people, when they're eating carbs or they're eating, these cereal bars, they're not making the connection that even though something says natural or it's claimed to be good for you, that it is. And so you always have to read the labels, which I'll get to a little bit later on. So, I'm not sleeping. I'm eating very poorly. My exercise is not where it should be. And my symptoms were getting significantly worse. So I took a step back and I said, okay, I have to address this because my symptoms were full blown. I was gaining a lot of weight. My mood swings were all over the place. I just did not feel like myself. And I knew that. I was aware of that. So I said to myself, something has to be done. I come home and I see several doctors, PCOS specialists, nutritionists, endocrinologists, all of whom are telling me to go back on these pills. And I just said to myself, this is it. Like, I am entirely on my own and I have to figure this out. So I started looking into functional medicine and, I came home, got all of this blood work taken, and came to find out that my liver was not working properly. And so I just want to give you kind of like a crash course really quickly. If your liver isn't working properly, those hormones are not going to be regulated properly or produced properly. And so, that's what was amplifying those PCOS symptoms. So in order to correct your liver, you have to focus on sugar, alcohol, caffeine. Those two weren't really the big ones for me. It was definitely sugar. And it was a wake-up call because I hadn't realized how much sugar I had been eating because I wasn't making that connection like, oh, well, if I'm eating pasta, that's eventually going to turn to sugar. Or if I'm eating this, protein bar that's low in fat, well, that's double the sugar. And I just was not aware of it. So now I am able to say that my symptoms are gone, my weight is down, my mood is completely regulated, which is my favorite part. I just feel like myself again, and I want to help women, do the same thing.
Yes, this is very powerful. Now, what would you say is the biggest challenge for people diagnosed with PCOS nowadays?
I think that PCOS is very misunderstood. And I also just want to address something in terms of the sugar. So, whether you have polycystic ovarian syndrome or not, I just want to make it very clear how addictive sugar is and what it kind of does to you. So, sugar activates the same centers in your brain as heroin or cocaine would. So the addiction to sugar isn't mind over matter. It's actually a biochemical change that occurs when we consume sweets. So it's prompting you to eat more and more sugar and not understanding that connection to PCOS, which people with polycystic ovarian syndrome have insulin resistance. So anytime you're eating sugar, that's detrimental for us. And so it's so, so crucial to be aware of how much sugar you're eating. So I think the biggest challenge was that every doctor I had been to was definitely treating the symptom over the cause. And I felt frustrated. I felt completely alone. And I felt just not myself. Like I couldn't control my emotional spectrum. And I'm a very grounded person. I'm a very positive person. I'm a very easygoing person to my core. And I was feeling irritable. I was just all over the place, really upset one day, feeling great the next day. There was no balance there. And it started to really, really concern me. Especially in terms with weight loss, I was struggling. I was kind of treating my body as an experiment, trying to figure out ways of eating. And I was having a very hard time losing weight. And of course, later on, I found out that my liver wasn't cleaning itself and it was so overflowed with inflammation and sugar that nothing was being utilized properly in my body. And that was all attributed to the sugar. So I had very low energy. I was gaining weight. There was a disconnect, like I said, between how I was feeling and who I actually am. And, I started finding people in functional medicine that I would speak to. And one woman said something that really stood out to me. And she said, imagine a person, the person that that when they're getting their period and their PMSing, they're the worst, right? That's how you've been living your life. And it's terrible. And that's why you don't feel like yourself, because your hormones are so imbalanced that you are truly not able to be yourself. And it was a wake-up call for me. And I finally that was the first time that I felt like somebody really understood me. And it was a great feeling.
I think a lot of people can benefit from your experience. Can you tell us how and where did you get all the knowledge that you have now?
Absolutely. So, a lot of what not to do came from my past experience with, these traditional mindset doctors. But when I came home from being a flight attendant, I was looking into schools that taught holistic medicine, functional nutrition, and I found the Integrative Institute of Nutrition, also known as IIN, and I was completely on board with their mindset. They discussed not only nutrition, but the other factors going on in your life, your relationships, your spirituality, what medications you're taking, herbs and supplements. There's so much that goes into it that's more than just the food. And I started shadowing a doctor practicing functional medicine, and that's kind of where I really learned the connection between what's going on with one part of your body versus the whole. I really am an advocate that everything is connected and that you really need to be aware of that. And unfortunately, in most of today's medicine, we're not aware of that. You go to one specific doctor for this problem, you go to another one for that problem, but your body is, a very complex system, and everything is truly connected. And so I've learned so much through that. And, I started watching tons of YouTube videos about different, systems in the body, the digestive system, the nervous system. And it's been a great experience because now I finally have the science understanding of it. And so that's how I'm able to do it properly.
Exactly. Yes. Everything is linked. Everything is connected. I couldn't agree more. Now, for someone that has PCOS, What advice would you give to start a sugar detox? What are your top 5 advices that you give to your clients?
That's a great question. So the first thing that I want to tell you guys is that to break or make a habit, it takes 21 days. I highly recommend that you stick it out for at least 30 days because you will see such a significant change in not only your body, but in your mind. I know for me, the most amazing thing was my anxiety completely diminished, and that was really incredible. So, um, my first recommendation would to hydrate as much as you possibly can, at least 3 liters of water a day. If you're highly active, I would say push it to 4 if you can. You want to increase your good quality protein, make sure it's from a clean source. And you're going to try to aim anywhere between 15 to 30 per meal, depending on your needs and your body size, your activity level. I also suggest that you include fibrous vegetables. I have my favorite list of vegetables called dim vegetables. So for PCOS, it's great because it pulls the estrogen out. So you're going to look for those cruciferous cauliflower, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, that family of vegetables. This is specific to PCOS, but ditch the dairy. And the reason is because when you consume dairy, it increases the insulin growth-like factor, also known as IH1. And so with PCOS, we already have trouble with insulin sensitivity. And so dairy further contributes that problem for us. So that one is specific to PCOS. But if you were doing the sugar detox, of course, this is going to benefit you whether you have PCOS or not. And you need to fight through the headaches. And like I said before, sugar has the same effects on your brain as drugs, as hard drugs. So when you're going through withdrawal, you're going to get headaches, you're going to feel fatigued, you're going to sweat. It's really important that you let your body rest. And I can't stress enough, hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. Now, I also want to address that I am not eliminating sugar completely, right? That's impossible because anytime you eliminate something altogether, what happens? You're going to crave it and you're going to binge eat it. What I am suggesting is that if you were going to have sugar, have it in small, small amounts. So let's say you're going to work out, you can have, protein oats with 1/4 cup of berries or 1/4 of a banana. And if you want to have a protein bar, definitely read the back and look at the label. I always tell my clients, if it's more than 5 grams of sugar, it's a candy bar. So I just really suggest emphasizing protein, vegetables, and a huge thing that has helped me, if you start to crave sugar, and in the beginning you will, substitute that for a high quality protein shake. Go for a clean protein shake. It'll not only knock your sweet tooth, but it'll also leave you feeling full. So you'll come to realize after the first week, I hadn't even thought about sugar, and it was a really remarkable change for me.
Okay. Thank you for your advices. Now I have a more personal question. If you could add any subject that would be taught in every school all over the world, what would it be?
I would definitely say holistic health, and it touches upon a few things. I think we should be learning, especially in America, because our food label laws and our genetically modifying on I can't say that word. Our GMO laws are so different in the US than in other countries. And so I think it's really important to understand what you're eating and to read the labels, understand the effects of these chemicals that are going to have on your body, understand the effects that these chemicals are going to have on your mood, on your inability or ability to lose or gain weight, your products, your household products. What are those chemicals going in our laundry detergent or in our skincare? What are they affecting? Study after study keeps surfacing about these links between cancer and products. And I think that it's really scary that we are in the hands of people that see us as a dollar sign. And just to be fully aware and to understand that you can change it. You determine your fate, but you have to want to, and you have to be aware of it.
Mm-hmm. Yes, very powerful. Yes, I agree. Being aware, increasing awareness. I couldn't agree more. Now, I think a lot of people will relate and will want to reach out to you to probably work with you. Can you share where people can actually find you?
Yes, absolutely. So my program, my brand name is called Jamie G Energy, and I am doing a Breakup with Sugar program, and it's a 3-month program. And you can, I'm actually taking new clients, so this is great that this is good timing for us. And you can send me an email at jamiegeenergy@gmail.com, and I'm sure we can link that below. Definitely,
Exactly.
if you are interested in booking a free transformation call with me, we do a 30-minute call. We address your concerns, your wants, your goals, and we confirm how dedicated you're willing to be, and we can definitely make that happen.
Thank you. Yeah. In your opinion, this is my last question for you, Jamie. In your opinion, what is the most important thing that we can do today for our health?
The most important thing that we can do today for our health is to be in charge of it. And what I mean by that is to really take it upon yourself to read those food labels. And before you take a pill, that was prescribed to you, challenge it. It's okay to challenge it. Doctors, unfortunately, do not know everything. Listen, I think that medicine has its place in the world. I'm not knocking it. I'm not saying that you never need pills. There are times when you definitely do. But I also feel that there are so many incidences where you can reverse these conditions through your diet, through your lifestyle, through herbs. You don't have to make such drastic changes and put such a negative chemical or interaction in your body. So there's also something that I really want to address. I had a meeting with a client the other day, and we talked about this. And she said to me, I don't understand why, the people in charge of our food are putting all these chemicals into our body. I just don't believe it. And I said to them, have you ever seen those commercials on MTV where they talk about, it's called Truth, and they say that, scientists are genetically engineering these cigarettes to become more addictive? Well, what makes you think that they're not doing that with our food, with our cereals, with these bars, right? Because unfortunately, they see you as a dollar sign. And I hate to say it, and I wish that wasn't the case. I really do. But especially in the States, you just have to be aware and start eating cleaner foods. That is definitely my biggest tip.
Okay, yes, exactly. That is very true. All of what you said is very true. Jamie, we are going to stay on that note for today. I absolutely loved our conversation. You have such an incredible energy, and I really understand why why you love pumping up people so much.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I'm so glad that we were able to spread awareness and to reach, both men and women, and hopefully we can, make a change.
For everyone listening, I hope we have inspired you too. Write in the comments what is your best outcome from this episode. And Jamie, thank you again for being here today.
Of course, my pleasure. Thanks so much.
I absolutely loved today's episode. If you did too, please share and subscribe and leave a comment with your best outcome from this episode. Before I leave, I want to thank you so much for being here, for taking that time for you today. Now, if you can think of someone that would benefit from that episode, please share it with them right now. Make sure you get this knowledge to their ears. And until next time, don't forget that if you're ready, your transformation starts here, where you learn how to invest in yourself, own every empowered action you take, and create a life of fulfillment for yourself.